If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today I want to get into building out some more functionality for our shopping cart. Now, the first thing that I want to handle is this 0 when there are no items in our cart, because currently there aren't any. So let's go ahead and handle that. Let's head into the text editor, and we're going to want to go into the nav component. And then if we head up to where we are displaying that first shopping cart, right in this span here, we can do if page props cart count is greater than 0, and that's it. Let's copy this one, and then we'll add it to the navigation menu as well in the hamburger. So right down here, we can just put that right on this div right here. Let's go ahead into the browser and make sure that that took. Okay, so now it's gone. Let's shrink our page a little bit. Okay, and now it's also gone from there. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and start adding some things into our shopping cart. Okay, that's one. Let's go add something else. Home goods. Okay, there's only one left. And we'll do one more item. Okay, we'll add 4 of those into the cart. Fantastic. The next thing I want to work on is taking one of these products, so a whole set of them, and I want to move them from the main shopping cart into our later shopping cart. So what I want to do is I want to create a controller, and that controller is going to house the majority of this functionality. Let's head into the text editor. I just want to open up a new terminal. We have a cart folder in our controller, so we'll just do PHP artisan make controller cart later controller, and then we'll just make it resourceful. Okay, let's head to that. Now how this is going to work is we'll have the main default cart, and then we will store it in the later cart, and then when we're getting ready to move it, then we'll delete and update and use those other functions for this. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. Okay, we don't need request because we'll be grabbing the ID from the shopping cart, and we can remove that from here as well. And then we'll say item cart, and this is going to be the instance of default. Then we want to get, and we're just going to be bringing in that ID. Let me import this. Now this ID that we'll be getting it from the cart instance itself. So let's head into the browser so I can show you. Let's go ahead and open up our inspection tools, and let's go to view. Okay. Here are our cart items right here. If we open up one of them, you see that there's an ID coming in, and there's also a row ID. And this is what we're using to identify the items in the cart. Close that. Okay, so we've grabbed the item. Now I just want to do cart instance. We'll call it later cart. And then we'll add the item ID, item name, item quantity, item price, 0 for the weight, and then we also need to pass in our options. So the first one will be total quantity, and then we're grabbing it from the cart instance. That's what this item is. So item options, total quantity, product code will be item options product code, the image, and finally the details. And just like we did when we were adding items into the cart, we also want to associate the model. Then after that, we'll return back. One quick side note about this shopping cart that we're using. We are going to eventually upgrade this project that we're working on to Laravel 8, and this shopping cart hasn't yet upgraded. They are currently working on it. So when they do, that's when we'll go ahead and get ready to update our whole Laravel project. We'll update all the packages and you guys can see how to get that done as well. So that's just a quick side note. We need to create a route for this now. So let's head over to the routes. And we have some here in our cart section. We'll just copy and paste this one. And this will also be a post, but instead of cart, we're going to say, or instead of just cart, we're going to say later. And then we'll be passing in the product. This will be later controller, and this will be the same. The only thing we're changing here is later store. Okay, let's make sure we import this. Later controller, and let's go ahead and make that work. So let's head into the cart index and go down towards the bottom. And under the components, I want to have a data property. And we'll return it. And this is where we'll put our form. So the first thing I want is quantity. That'll be 1. I want to have an index, which is also 1. And the form, this quantity and index, will be working on getting the correct quantities. Because if you look now, everything says 1. We'll handle that later. If we don't do it today, we'll do it the next episode, but that's what that's for. Now we can do this. Inertia form. Items. Now, this cart items is coming in from the props that we're sending in through the cart index page, through the cart controller. Now we need our method. And we'll call it add to later cart. And we're going to pass in the ID. This form post. We're going to pass in the route. We're going to be passing in the ID, and we're going to do that right from the form up top. We'll do that in a bit. Preserve scroll is true, and on success, we'll have an anonymous function. I'm going to leave it empty for now. We'll be putting our toast notification in there. I need this right here. So let's go ahead and add this to that section. Here's a save for later button, and here's where we put our form. Add to later cart is the function. And then since we're passing in the item in here with the v4 loop, we're going to use that item row ID. Form submit dot prevent. Okay, so let's see what happens. And now we'll click save for later. And something happened, but obviously we're not going to see it because we didn't do anything. All we have is the console log out for the ID number. So it is hitting that route. Fantastic. Let's go back and now remove this from this spot right here. So we'll go into the later controller. And now what we want to do is we're calling the item variable here, but what we need to do is get rid of it from that cart. But now we can remove the ID that we're passing in. Let's try that again and see if it disappears. Okay, save for later. Cool, so it's no longer there. Now what we can do is start working on this in here as well. We can close that out. And to get these to show, we are going to have to go to our cart controller and add some more variables to put in that component. So the first one, I'm just going to call it later items, and that's going to equal cart instance of later cart content. And I'll just copy paste this one because we also need the count. And so now we can grab these. Now let's bring this into the component too. We can close this, we don't need it. now let's get these to display. In this div right here, we can just do v4, item index, in later items, key will be index. For the first route, we can do route shop show item option slug. Then we have our image, which might copy this one to save us some time. We'll also add an alt item name. Okay, and then we have another route here. Shop show item option slug. These two spans. One is going to be name. This one is going to be options details. And that should be good for right now. Let's go ahead and check the browser. So now this item should actually have a product. Okay, did I mess up the image again? Let's take a look. Yep, I sure did. So this should be image. Let's try it again. Okay, cool. So now we have our image. We'll add the price and then we'll also work on that function. Now this $5.99 will be filters, format currency, item price. Okay, 6018. And now let's go ahead and do a similar thing where we move to cart. So go up to that move to cart button. We'll have at submit. We'll have add to cart as the function. And then we'll pass in the item row ID. Okay, let's head down and make that function. And then we can just go ahead, copy this one. It'll be the same or similar. Add to cart, passing in the ID. And the route will be move to cart. And we'll keep this stuff the same. Let's go ahead into the web route and make that. Okay, so we'll just copy this one for now. This will be move. And then the function, I'm not gonna make a whole new controller for it, but we'll say move to cart. And let's go ahead and add it to our later controller. We can copy the whole thing. And then we'll bring it all the way down to the bottom. So now this will be move to cart. The item will be the later cart. It will be removing from the later cart this time, and then we're going to move it to the default, and then we'll return back. Let's give this a try. Okay, so we'll try to move this back to cart. Fantastic. Let's also go ahead and deal with this text down here. There it is. Okay, so on this p tag, we'll do vf later count. That's the property that we brought in from the cart controller, is less than or equal to 0. And this one will be velse. Okay, let's check that out. So now this should be gone. You have no item saved for later. Fantastic. And now I also want to get rid of these headers for this little table that we have down here. Well, on this div, we'll do if later count is greater than 0. Cool. So now that's gone. We have our little message there. Fantastic. So let's start with we'll put this in the save for later cart for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on removing these. First one is going to be in the cart controller. We're going to go down to the destroy method, and it's going to be really easy. We just need to destroy the cart. And we've already seen the remove function from the shopping cart. Then we'll just return back. Let's go ahead and add that to the web routes. And then we'll just grab one of these. This will be delete. This will be cart product. And then the functions themselves will just be destroy. Okay, now let's go ahead and incorporate that into the cart page. Okay, let's quickly look for remove. And which one is this? Later items. Let's try the other one. Cart items. Fantastic. Okay, so this is the button. The function is going to be, or the method, delete from cart. We're going to be passing in the item, row, ID. Okay, and let's go ahead and make that function or that method. Shrink these down a bit so we have some more room. Delete from cart. This will be delete. Cart destroy, passing in the ID. Everything else is the same. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Okay, so we're going to remove the crazy poodle lady hoodie. Okay, and now it's gone. It hasn't been moved anywhere. Fantastic. Now we're going to go ahead and deal with this as well. Now this one is going to be very similar. We can just grab this function here, take it over to the later controller, and then it'll replace our destroy method here. But instead of the default, we'll be getting rid of the later cart web route, and then we'll just copy this one. This will be delete. Later product is the same, and the functions are destroy. Let's go ahead and now add that to the cart page. This will now be delete from later. This form delete, later destroy. Items, it's the next one. Later items. Okay, so now the function here will be at submit. Delete from later. Row ID. Now let's try to get rid of it from the later cart. Okay. That did nothing. Let's see what's up. Delete from later. Delete from later. Ah, okay. Delete from later. Capital L. Let's try it again. You have no item saved for later. Fantastic. One thing that I definitely wanted to deal with is that if you take a look, we do have 6 of these items in our cart, okay? That's the correct count. But let's go ahead and open up the View Inspect tools and take a closer look because we added a bunch of these. Let me bring this up so you can see it better. Okay, if you look at our props, our cart items, this is our cart item. Okay, and as you can see, we have 6. Remember, we put total quantity, so we know that that hoodie has 8 total, but we put 6 in our cart. Notice when we save it for later, it's saying we have 5 items saved for later. Okay, let me close this up on the right here. And if you look, we also have the prop coming in for later items now. So if we open that up, that still says 6. So we need to fix that in our code. Let's head up. And we hard-coded it here. So that's fine. All we need to do is add that later count. Let's go ahead and try it again. Now we have 6 items saved for later. We'll move it back to the cart. 6 items in cart. Fantastic. And we also have 6 items up here. And now if we remove it, now we have nothing in the cart. Everything here is displaying that except for this. We'll do that now as well. Let's go and double check that. Fantastic. If you guys are enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button as it really does help out the channel. I'm going to push all this code up to GitHub and leave a link for that down in the description, as well as a link to the playlist so that you can catch up on all the videos in this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.